All right, guys, this is Paul Singh, the market speculator, with the trade report for November 9th, 2016. The election is finally over. We got a big bit of a surprise here, and whether you are happy or upset about it when it comes to our trading, it does not matter. We should have some good trading here coming up going into the end of the year. Whether you're a swing or a day trader, there's going to be a ton of opportunity here. So let's get to work and take a look at some of the themes now we can pay attention to going into the end of the year. And one of the big themes here is biotech. The market, pre-market futures, I know many of you have been watching them and been asking a lot about it. S&P is down only 1.4%, which is a bit of a surprise this morning because last night it was limit down, I don't remember how much percent. I remember looking at once and it was around 5%. VIX has come down here a little bit, which it's still up, but obviously we liked the big move last night because we have that VIX position, but things are settling in here, not looking quite as dire as it did in that first overreaction, and we'll see how it plays out today. But again, the big news, no matter what's happening to the market, there's some things to watch here, and the biggest thing is biotech. Biotech has basically been beaten down because of the fear of Hillary winning, obviously, because she would one of her platforms was against the drug company. So you're seeing that big pop here this morning. I think now this might be the catalyst that moves biotech forward. We'll see how it handles these moving averages. They don't always play out like we think, so we're not just going to jump in here, but we're going to be watching biotech very closely. It is the sector that is going to be at the forefront of what we're looking at. And then remember yesterday, we also talked about all of those marijuana bills that were in play, and they ended up being pretty positive, especially the big one in California here. So GWPH gapping up this morning, and we will be watching GWPH. This is really the only marijuana-related play I pay too much attention to, but I may start to look at some of the lower float, riskier stocks, and we'll start building that watch list a little more than just GWPH. But overall, the pattern in GWPH is really good here, and this will obviously be at the forefront here. Now, the gold move, and you can see here, JNUG and Nugget are up 16 and 14% this morning, and we can pull up the charts here and see the little pop here. This could be a momentary thing. So it could be that overreaction to Trump being president, a little flight to safety, and when people step back and say, okay, it's not that big a deal, then maybe it doesn't play out. But we will watch it very closely. I think with Trump as president, throughout at least the beginning stages here, just about anything he says can cause overreaction. So we are going to watch gold very closely. So VIX, gold, biotech, marijuana stocks. Those are four key areas to be watching going forward here. And we'll add a fifth, and that is financials. I read somewhere that the possibility of a rate hike by the Fed has gone down from 80% down to about 40 or 50%. And you can see here XLF, while the market is down here, financials are actually up, and that's pretty rare for financials to be up when the market is down this big. So financials are getting a pop because of that. So that's a fifth area to be watching. Now, doesn't mean we trade it today. That doesn't mean we trade it tomorrow. Still a lot of patience. And you remember, if we look at SPY here during that Brexit run, that initial move, we didn't really play. We were in a few positions, but didn't do a whole lot. Then when we got the confirmation, this ended up being one of the biggest runs of the year for us. So there's always that secondary trade. You know, we don't want to guess on the first trade or overreact to the first trade. And that's what we're going to do here. I may not make a trade today. I may not make a trade tomorrow. It might not be till next week when things finally kind of shake out. And this is for swing. Obviously, for your intraday trading, this is going to be a really active period. But for swing trading, you need to kind of let things settle down unless you're just making guesses and bets or hedging. And we did some hedging yesterday. And let's get to our trades here. 3 of them are pretty good. Brazil is gapping down. We're going to use a gap down strategy for that. So let's take a look at AMBA. Fantastic. Down to about 54 here. Again, we've been looking for that 51, 52, 53 range. So hopefully we can get a little continuation. My fear is that the markets bounce back, and you know, futures are already doing that. So you know, at this point, if I see it start to bounce back, unlike last time, I might take the profits. Entry was at 61.40. We're sitting in a really good spot here with AMBA. VIX was up huge yesterday after hours, but has settled in here. Entry was around 32.80 or 90. We're up to about 34, looks like around 34.50. We'll see how that plays out, but I may take that quick profit here. You know, again, oftentimes there are overreactions and then the market will settle down. So may take that quick profit in VIX. And then PayPal has handled itself pretty well. It's in credit services, so being kind of financials related helps. It's down right around, still above where our stop is. And even if we took a loss here, it wouldn't hit us that hard at all. But I would imagine this is going to bounce off this little gap down here. And the one to be a little concerned about here is Brazil. We've gapped down pre-market below our stop level. Now this was a small position, so it doesn't hurt too much. For me right now, this would be around at 15, somewhere between $1,500 and $1,700 loss, which is within my risk parameters. You always want to give yourself room to where even if you get one of these gap downs, it's still within your risk parameters. And we're doing that. We're going to use the gap down strategy, which we've had to go to a number of times here this year. So we've got the gap down below our stop. We're not just going to jump out. If you've got a hard stop, I'd probably lift it. We're settled at 40. I would give it some room below the lows here, which could make it a little bigger of a loss. But I want to see how it handles today. And I don't like to exit on overreactions that end up being the lows. So we're going to watch this one very closely today. So that's basically it right now. We've got the same focus list, so I'm not going to go through that whole thing, but we're watching the same stocks we've been watching. And then we're going to key in on the 5 points we just talked about: biotech, gold, financials, marijuana stocks. And I had one more, and I forgot what it is, but we can go back in the video and point that out. So these 5 areas is here. And then anything else that emerges, we will be on top of. So that's it for the trade report today. Be patient, stock your setups, and when I've got a trade, I'll let you guys know.